Next.
Are there any states that actually protect general partnerships?
No, because general partnership is not recognized by any state. I didn't file for a general partnership. Now, there are some laws. Most states have adopted what's called the Unified Partnership Act. And so there are some laws. Let's say Kendall and I go into business together. We don't form anything. Are there some laws in the state of Utah that will protect me somewhat? Yeah, but I'm still liable for everything. But because general partnerships are not recognized by, I didn't file a form. There's no form, an application form for a general partnership. It's not recognized by a state. It's just a handshake deal. So therefore, you can't go in and file a general partnership form for anybody. It would be a limited partnership, an LLC, a corporation. The states recognize those types of business entities. But a general partnership, because it's not recognized by a state, also doesn't have any protection from the state other than what the state will do in their general guidelines. Okay, so I've got a set of books here, and it's called the Utah Code. So in that, it defines how partnerships are going to act generally. So that's general partnerships. However, I never want to rely on that. I want to have a written document saying, Kendall, here's how we're going to run the business. And if you die, here's what happens to your interest. And if I die, here's what happens. And if you get sued, here's how we're going to do it. We're not going to rely on the state. We want something stronger than that if we're serious about running a business. Hopefully that makes sense.
So the question is then, if you have two people that are acting like partners, running a business together, generally they're partners then, correct?
Ooh, and this, there's a lot of case law on this. It's an assumed partnership. One of the ones that I read several years ago, it was 5 dentists that got together, and they all had their own little professional LLC, but they shared a waiting room. And sometimes when one of the receptionists got sick, the others would kind of fill in. And they all bought together, they bought the magazines. Well, it was kind of a partnership, but it really wasn't, because they all had their separate little businesses. And so technically, they didn't have a partnership. But from the outside looking in, if you walked into the office where it's a shared waiting room and shared magazines, and sometimes your receptionist goes, greets the other people. And the other thing that was kind of a determining factor on this was annually, all 5 dentists and their families got together and had a Christmas party. Well, one of the dentists got in trouble. He had a lawsuit that faced him. And what they did was they filed a lawsuit against all 5 dentists. Well, the 4 of them, motion to dismiss, we didn't have anything to do with it, and the court denied that motion and said, to the eyes of an outside person, it looks to us like you have a partnership. Therefore, you're all going to be held liable for this, the actions of one. So sometimes it's not just it's a handshake deal. Sometimes it's an assumed partnership, even though you don't have it. We always want these documents to be in writing. General partnerships, in my mind, are bad, but also assumed partnerships. Don't make it look like we're in business together if you're not. Be careful of that.
So to avoid that, you would then, if you did have 5 dentists sharing the same office space, what's the best practice?
Run it very cleanly. Make sure that you've got separate set of books. Make sure that there's a partnership agreement. And maybe what we could do is we rent the space from somebody and we share. If you're going to lease my employee, we do it with an agreement. You pay the employee, not me, and we just don't willy-nil anything. Maybe the association buys the magazines, and there's clear leases, but put everything in writing. Don't don't go into business with other people, even from the outside looking in. Make sure that all your corporate records are clean. If you're going to have a party, make sure that everyone's invited. And who puts it on? Well, the association would, not the dentists.